So coming on to question 9, student uses this apparatus to investigate the rate of reaction between marble chips and dilute hydrochloric acid. There's this equation given. Part A1 tells us during the reaction, the reading on the balance decreases because mass is lost from the flask. Why mass is lost from the flask? Since we can see carbon dioxide gas is being produced, we can just simply write CO2 gas is given off. That is the reason why the mass is lost from the flask. So A2 tells us state the purpose of the cotton wool. So as we can see, the cotton wool is kept at the top of the flask. So it is being used to prevent acid spray from leaving the flask. So as the reaction is carried out, the acid does not spray around. Moving on to part B, this is a graph of the student's results. The graph is given a loss in mass against time. Explain the shape of the graph. You should assume that the marble chips are in excess. So as you can see, the curve is the steepest at the start. So we can write curve is steepest at the start, thus loss in mass is the fastest. So why is it the fastest? Because acid concentration is highest at the start. Moving on to next point. So as you can see, the curve becomes less steeper. So you can mention about that as well. Curve becomes less steeper. Therefore, the loss in mass slows down. Therefore, what happens is acid concentration reduces. Lastly, we can also mention about the curve flattens at the end as all the acid is used up. So that's your answer for part B1. Moving on to part B2, on the grid, draw the curve you would expect to obtain if the student uses the same volume of hydrochloric acid but with half the concentration. Assume all the other conditions are kept the same. So in this case, the concentration is half, so therefore the curve will start similarly, but the loss in mass will also be halved. So what we can do is, since the curve become constant around 0.55, in this case, the curve will become constant at around 0. Just nearly at 0.3. The curve should be something like this. So that's your answer for part B2. Moving on to part C, the last part of question 9. The student repeats the experiment using the same mass of smaller marble chips. Explain using particle collision theory. how using smaller marble chips would affect the rate of this reaction. Assume that all other conditions are kept the same as the initial experiment. So, since smaller marble chips increases the surface area, so we can write about that. Smaller marble chips have a greater surface area, so therefore rate of reaction would be faster. You can also mention about there will be there will be more number of collisions per unit time. So that's our answer for question 9, part C.